Take two. I usually don't mention when I attempt to record something and then end up cutting it, but in this case I'm going to mention it because the previous minute of recording that I didn't show here was basically just me going, so basically, you see, yeah, I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. But yeah, we're back in the snowy route because there's a rock climb wall over here. Got like a couple of these left to do, and then we'll be able to move on with the game. We're moving on to the mandatory post-7th gym plot section, which is a really strange recurring trend in these games. I don't know why they always feel the need to do that. I want to say every main Pokemon game, except for the 1st gen and the 5th gen, always has, like, the evil team's main plot kind of takes off between the 7th and 8th gym, and it's supposed to be, like, the climax, but it's really weird that they have it there, because, like, I understand that, like, in terms of, like, climax in a literal sense, like in a book or whatever, like, usually you don't have it at the very end, you have it close to the end, and then it kind of winds down. But I feel like it's kind of weird to have it work that way in these games, because you've got, like, for the majority of the game, all you're really doing is just kind of, like, progressing through the world, getting the badges, and trying to be the best there ever was, etc., etc. And then the evil team kind of comes in, and they're like, "Her, we be bad," and stuff, rar. And it's like, you take care of all their crap, usually getting, like, a super powered, like, uber legendary out of it, and then after you take care of all this, save the world, blah blah blah, then you just kind of have another gym to do. And it's a really weird kind of, like, return to reality after that. Like, maybe that's what it's meant to be. It's like, oh, life continues, back to the usual, like, drag. I don't know. These frickin' skiers. As we skiers say, spur thing. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I don't really care for that. So, let's just get out of this fight. Now time to find out. Is steel not very effective against ground? I never remember if it is or not. I guess we won't find out. Come on. Okay. I guess it's neutral. Yeah, I never remember Steel's matchups for whatever reason. There's, like, just a few types that, for, like, as long as I've been playing this series, I just never remember if they're good or bad against stuff. Like, the example I usually think of is Rock being Rock being neutral against itself, whereas I always assumed it was not very effective, and Bug being neutral against Rock. Like, I remember those now because I've specifically committed those to memory as being strange exceptions from what I'd expect. But when it comes to, like, is Steel bad against ground and fighting and that kind of thing, I just never remember them. They don't usually come up often enough to be really much of a problem. So, more of the same. And can we get out of all this? Nope, because of Ice Shard. Excellent. Oh well. So I haven't really been pointing them out very often in this playthrough, but Gen 4, as I'm sure I've mentioned at some point, was the start of the, like, gender differences in certain sprites, and for the most part they're really inconsequential and minor. The major exception being Hippopotas and Hippowdon, because they actually have, like, major color scheme differences. And you could argue, like, female Combee, because it has... Obviously, it's mostly needed for the evolution, but it has, like, the red dot, and it's somewhat noticeable. Snover there has somewhat of a difference, though, because it has the center stripe being different, and I'm kind of curious if anybody can learn Ice Beam. I don't have my full team here right now, though. Well, these can't. Caroline, maybe? I'm gonna say probably not. Guess we'll find out later. Anyway, one more trainer. Let's just deal with her like we've dealt with all the rest of them. How do you expect to battle battles, anyway? And there we go. Yeah, the gender differences were kind of a thing that, like, dropped off the map for whatever reason, because they had a lot of them in these games, and then in Gen 5 they only had, like, 2 of them. They had Unpheasant and Frillish and Jellicent, so I guess 3. And then Gen 6 has, like, Pyroar and Meowstic. And Meowstic, for whatever... Why am I healing again? For whatever reason, Meowstic has, like, actual stat differences along with the gender differences. I don't know how severe it is, though. I've never used one, so I never really cared too much about that. But yeah, it's just kind of a weird thing that they introduced and then ignored. But then again, Game Freak is kind of known for doing that, so I'm not completely surprised by this development. Alright, so after we... At some point, if I get in Deep Snow again, I have to do the entirety of that song. Oh, hello, Reaper Cloth. Okay, it wasn't that bad. Alright, I'll just start the first few notes of that song every time I get stuck in snow, which that will probably be the last time. The donut says... exclamation point. Ew, it's cold. Yeah, that's what happens when you've got, like, an area that is cold. It's cold. Why did you come here? I don't know. Do I battle you, or no? I guess she already got fought. Okay. Yo. It's not enough to want to be the best. You have to have heart, damn it. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. Anyways, let's see if there's any crap in this lake. Probably nothing really worth mentioning. I assume the wild Pokemon here are the same as the previous route. I know when I tried to find a shiny Snover through the radar in Platinum, like in the actual version that I have, this is where I did it. Really nothing there? Okay. Come on now. Come on now. And we get both of the major Ice-type TMs, one after the other. Alright. Once I get my other team members put back in the party here, I will check if that's compatible also. Blizzard is 70 accuracy in this, right? I know it was like... yeah, there it is, 70. Because for some reason it was like 80 or 90. I want to say 90 in Gen 1, and it was like ridiculously broken. Because Gen 1 also had freezing as a permanent status that you can never get out of. Run into here, and then leave. Okay, so I think that's basically it for climbing on top of shit. The next area that I'm supposed to go to is climbing up Mount Coronet. I'm curious what... or actually, no, I think I have to do, like, galactic stuff. Yeah, crap, I forgot I have to go through their whole headquarters. That's gonna be annoying. I want to see, like, if there's something that sparks the plot event, though. Because I don't know if I'm just supposed to know to go there, or how that works exactly. Let's... maybe... yeah, there's nobody around here. I guess you just wander? I don't know. Anyway, I forget what I was saying. I was like halfway through several subjects, and then I never really finished any of them. So let me just do a quick bit of team management here. Check the TM compatibility, and then take out the HM slaves yet again, because I'm going to need them. Alright, so Blizzard is not learnable by anybody. Ice Beam is not learnable by anybody. Cool. Well, that'll change at some point. What other TMs did I get recently? I know I got Avalanche, which was also not learnable by anybody. I got Psychic. There was like... I wasn't sure if I wanted to teach that over Fant Attack or not. I probably should. I'm looking at how many moves I have. Like, I mean, I've got my Psychic user. I don't know if I really need another one. I'll figure it out later. Alright, let's switch team members again. Again, this is... I have no clue what I'm doing. Let's just get this over with. Maybe go talk to Rowan or something. Like, it's been so long, so it's like I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know how I'm supposed to know what to do. Yep, that's what I came here for, definitely. What are you so astounded by? Like, didn't you know they were here? I don't understand the Pokédexes. Like, it seems like they're programmed to, like, have blank spots for everything as if they know how many are already there, but then the professors don't know about it. I don't freaking get it. Alright, what I think you're probably supposed to do in terms of game progression at this point is they're like, yada yada, Team Galactic is evil, we're gonna go back to our headquarters. I didn't even read the text, so I don't remember. So you go to Veilstone. Alternatively, you can start climbing Mount Coronet and you run into like this weird cardboard wall that you can't get past for some reason. It only sounds stupid because it is. Like, it's not cardboard, obviously, but there is just this wall that's there, and it's like, oh no, there's a thing here. And then that's it, and then you have to, like, come back later, and then there's just mysteriously a hole in it. I'll point that out when I get to that part. I swear that's how that works. So, moving on. Yeah, get rid of this here. Really don't want to do the headquarters because it's going to be annoying as shit. Actually, before I do, I should probably stock up on healing items, so let me do that real quick. If I can find out where the department store is. It was very hard to find. I cannot find it anywhere. What am I going to do? What's the deal with, like, elevator attendants? Like, they don't exist anymore, do they? Because I know they did at some point, because there's, like, old cartoons that have them. Yeah, I think this is the definition of something I'm going to do off screen, so I'll be back in a sec. Alright, I'm back. Got some milk and lemonade, and insert joke about, like, fudge is made, etc. I don't know. Before I go into the main section of the building, I wanted to check this, which I can't get into, so yeah, I guess we're going into the main section of the building. And next up in the list of games to talk about is Pokémon Y. I will actually start getting into that one in a minute here after I get into the building and see if there's, like, dialogue that I need to pay attention to. And assuming that there probably isn't, then I will start at that point. Also, it took me entirely too long to figure out how to get up here. Alright, so I think I've already talked to most of these schmucks earlier. I don't know what exactly is different now. I am supposed to be here, right? Okay, maybe I was wrong. I feel really stupid, because I'm almost positive at this point that there was some dialogue that I missed that said what I was supposed to do. And I guess I start going up the mountain? Like, I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is going to the Eterna building, which I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to do, but sure, I'll go check it out. Let me go switch my team around yet again. What the fuck did I just do? So anyway, while I'm trying to get my bearings here, Pokemon Y. I mentioned earlier that Gen 5, like Black and White 2, was probably my favorite in the series, which means by default that I didn't like X and Y as much. I still think they're pretty decent games, but there were certain aspects of them that kind of, I don't know, people always complain about the lack of a post-game, and so I'm like almost required by law now to point out that as being a problem with them, and it is to an extent, but I don't really know if the post-game really matters that much, like as long as the main game itself is okay. Also, that building didn't seem to have anything of use in it, so let's just start heading up the mountain, I guess. Wait, why did I go to Orberg? That's not at all where I need to be. Anyway. But yeah, X and Y, though, I did actually go into them more or less blind. Like, I knew a lot of the pre-release Pokemon just because they were shown off, and I liked learning about them. But then, like, when it came into the few months before the release, I decided I'm not going to look up stuff about it. Like, when the game eventually leaks, or when more information is given out, I want to be kind of surprised by the new Pokemon in this, because I had never really done that before. I usually would look at all the new stuff and, like, meticulously plan out my team, and I don't have Surf. Oh my god, this video. Okay, let me go change out my team again, because I didn't come prepared, and I guess I could have come from Orberg anyway. But anyway, like I said, I didn't see a lot of the Pokemon going in, but the thing is, because there were only, like, 70, or what is it, like 72 new ones in Gen 6, not counting the Megas, a good amount of those had already been shown off, so, like, by skipping over, like, looking at the information, I really didn't find that much stuff to be surprising. Kind of annoying how that happened, especially since, like, I didn't end up using any older Pokemon on my team anyway, so I didn't even get to see, like, the new Megas or anything, but whatever, it is what it is. So the team I had in that game, I went with Chestnut for the starter because it was my least favorite of the three, and that's what I have been doing recently, is just picking the starter that actually appeals to me the least, because I'll, like, hope that it surprises me. I don't know. Named that one Ambrose. It was a... I never really read the Redwall books. I read, like, 2 of them. There was an Ambrose that was a hedgehog from one of those, I think. I don't know. Talonflame, pretty much everybody used, and I was no exception. This was just one caught normally, so it doesn't have the good ability, though. Named it Merida, after the character from Brave, because its evolutionary family is based around arrows, and it's fiery, and she has red hair. I don't know. Florges, just the regular red color, because at that point I don't think I had realized that there were other colors of them. So I just caught the first one I found. That one I named Muffin, not really sure why. Aegislash, or Aegislash, however you pronounce that one, called it Soul Edge, like basically everybody else did, because I thought it was being clever, but I wasn't really. Let's see, Malamar, I could not think of a good nickname for, so I just called it Ursula. Barbarical, there's an interesting one, because That was... I think when I first found Binacle from breaking a rock... Speaking of rock, let's see. Would Rock Slide be useful on this moveset? I'd use it more than counter. You know what? Why not? Who do I not have here? Magby. Actually, let me hold on to that, because I don't know if Magby can learn it, so I will come back and check that later. But yeah, Binacle was the first Pokemon that I specifically remember seeing and being like, what the hell is this thing? Because most of the other ones had either been shown off in the pre-release stuff, or were like evolutions of those, or weren't terribly surprising in the first place. So I caught that thing. I'm like, I have no clue what this thing is. It's ugly as all hell. It's kind of amazing, though. I'm going to use this thing, because why not? I named it Carbuncle. I think Carbuncle is a thing from Final Fantasy. I never cared about that series enough to really know for certain, though, so I don't think it's anything related to that, but I saw its name, and I'm like, okay, you're Carbuncle. Didn't know about Carbink at that time. That would have been a more fitting name for Carbink, but whatever. Used Dragalge, named it Mystery after the seahorse from SpongeBob. Heliolisk was Newton, because, like, reasons. Yeah, here's the cardboard wall I talked about. Alright, so here's the point where we're 25 minutes into the video, and I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. Let me finish going over the team, and I think I've explored everything I possibly can in this cave. Anyway, Aurorus, named it Bert, because it's a Brontosaurus, and Bronto Bert was a thing from Kirby. Klefki called Keymon, because that was a thing from, like, Final Fantasy X-2. I now say 3 minutes after saying that I don't care about that series, but shut up. Caught a shiny Pumpkaboo. It's the small version, so I evolved that one, named it Harvey, because Harvest. And a Noivern named Erico, because it sounds like Echo. Anyway, I need to figure out what the hell I'm doing, so allow me to find that out, maybe. So I reviewed the footage, checked what What's-Her-Face from Lake Acuity said, and she's just like, you better not come to our HQ in Veilstone, so I came back here, talked to this random jackass outside, and I think he's about to initiate something, so let's see. Okay. Yep, that was really arbitrary. I don't like that. I came here and I talked to everybody inside, and figured, oh, I can't progress here, and then figured I had to go somewhere else. But I didn't talk to the one person that I needed to. Anyway, why do you have the storage key? I guess the doctor has mysterious ways, whatever. No. Well, bye. Okay, fine, I'll get the key and just move on. You wanna, like, maybe do it yourself? Because you're the adult here? God, this fucking guy. Alright, I think I have to go into the warehouse. Again, I'm pretty sure he said that, but at this point, I'm like, my eyes are glazing over from the stupidity of me not progressing. And I'm not reading the dialogue, so it's my own fault, but I'll... whatever. Wait, I thought I took the key from you. Okay, I guess he is going with me then. Anyway, that was the team I used and why. Things that I dropped, I was going to try and use a Bunnelby, and then it evolved, and I'm like, yeah, fuck this, because I took one look at that thing and decided that it was the worst Pokemon of all time. No, the worst is still Girder, but... Ooh-ah, ha-ha-ha. But yeah, I was not impressed by Diggersby, so it became an HM slave. Then I did try to use a Pancham at one point, named it Peking. It's like the name of the... It's a city in China, for one thing, but it's also like the Beanie Baby Panda was called Peking, so I didn't know what else to call it. Tried that one for a while, it was alright. decided to hold off on it, though, because I already had, like, fighting and dark types on the team. So, figure I'll save this one for a later playthrough. And that's where part of the problem comes from, because, all signs were pointing towards, Z version eventually being a thing, or at least, like, X and Y 2 or something. That still has not happened. And now with Sun and Moon on the horizon, I'm not really sure what's going on with Zygarde. It's one of those things that, like, I've mentioned this in streams and stuff. It's like, I don't really know what they're doing with this thing, because it's a Gen 6 Legendary, and they've shown off new forms of it, and they've been advertising the new forms in, like, Pokemon Shuffle and Picross, and I'm pretty sure there was a movie. I don't really follow the movie, so I'm not sure. But yeah, it hasn't been available in the games yet, and it's presumably going to be in the new ones, but that's like Gen 7, and it's a Gen 6 Legendary, and why? Like, I don't get it. Unless Gen 7 does turn out being what people are saying is like Gen 6.5, which is stupid, because I don't really think you can have a half. If you introduce a bunch of new stuff, I assume it's going to have to be a new generation, but I don't know, I guess it can be like a new way of doing things. It doesn't have to follow the usual formula, or however they want to do it. But that's a talk for another day, I guess. As far as other stuff in that game, I forgot to mention last time, I usually talk about shinies that I found. In the entirety of Gen 5, aside from the Haxorus that you can just get, and the Dratini that you get from the Tree Hollow, the only shiny that I ever found was Audino, and it was found within 24 hours of me getting the shiny stone from completing the National Dex in, I don't remember if it was White or White 2, actually. Or Shiny Charm is what it's called, whatever. Did White 1 have the Shiny Charm? I don't even remember. But it was one of those games, and I was, like, leveling something up, and I went in, I'm like, oh, hey, Shiny Audino, cool. That's what I've always wanted. So, I haven't used it, because it's an Audino. I considered it for a different playthrough that I'll talk about later on, and I have already talked about it in, like, Green Mario, but whatever. But that was it for Gen 5. Why I found like 18 billion shinies, because they increased the rate of them, and I also got really lucky. So, let's see, I got a Electrike, I got the Pumpkaboo that I already mentioned, a Poliwhirl, which I still maintain was not found through chain fishing. I did fish for it, but it was like the first or second time fishing in that spot, so I don't really think it was a chain. So I got a Poliwhirl. Then, let's see. I eventually found a Roselia in a Horde. That was in the post-game, I believe, when I was, like, leveling crap up. I'm trying to go in order here, because I got a crap ton of stuff through chain fishing, which kind of count, but kind of don't. I got, like, a Skrelp and 2 Dragalges, which I ended up trading all those away. Let's see, a Whiscash, which I traded away, a Relicanth, which eventually made its way into a Mega Ruby, but then didn't get used. A Love Disc, which I was going to use in the team, but then didn't, and then caught 2 other shiny Love Discs, and did use one of those. Maybe some other fish? I don't remember. I think that might have been all of them. And then from the Friend Safari, I found 2 Snowrunts, which, again, I'll mention at some other point. I found a Fracture, which I traded away. And I found a Phantomp while looking for a shiny Spiritomb, which I never did. Never ended up finding the Spiritomb, but I did find the Phantomp, and I've still got it, and I might eventually do something with it one day. But that's where I was starting to go with the whole, like, Pokemon Z never happened thing, is I was kind of counting on it being a thing, because I wanted to do another playthrough using Pokemon that I didn't use the first time around, such as the Pancham, and maybe the Shiny Phantump, and a bunch of other stuff, like the other two starters. But it's not gonna be a thing, so I don't know, they'll get used at some point. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna complain that Game Freak is actually making, like, original content instead of making a couple changes to a game they released 3 years ago and calling it a new game, because they kind of do that a lot, and it's kind of a shitty freaking business strategy that still works in their favor, which is annoying. But I don't know. This has been the most rambling, like, useless video ever. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, or if I'm even still alive anymore. But to continue rambling about why, let's see, I did the TM, I did the Shinies. There was, like, once every generation, I've been doing, like, the full living decks, and this was no exception. My goal this time was not nearly as strict as it had been in previous ones, because I did actually do some GTSing at one point, which normally I would, like, never even consider, but I'm like, fuck it, I don't even care anymore. Still caught most of the stuff that I could. I only ended up using the GTS for stuff that I couldn't get through the Friend Safari, basically, and for, like, the Vivillon farms, because you're kind of required to do that. But, I do have a full living dex in that game, minus the event legendaries, which I will have once the, like, 20th anniversary events are finished up. But, yeah, it's like, it's the one that I've cared the least about. Because I remember specifically wanting to get everything possible before the Pokemon Bank came out, which I did eventually do. And then, like, because I had kind of rushed it and used the GTS for stuff, I, like, wanted to eventually go back and replace them with stuff I caught on my own, but then I never did. Even though Omega Ruby came out and gave access to all those, I do have them caught in that game, but I never, like, traded them over or anything. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. I just kind of lost interest in it halfway through. That's pretty much my final analysis of Gen 6. I lost interest halfway through. Which I feel stupid saying, because, yeah, I'm done. I finished the game, I put like 300-400 hours into it. Obviously, it took up a lot of my time. It just wasn't as good as previous generations, I feel. And random dubious disc. For the record, I also have no idea where I'm going in this base. I'm just gonna kind of wander for a while until I find something of interest, and then we'll probably stop. Anybody learn Sludge Bomb? Let's see. No. I am gonna go ahead and teach Rock Slide, though, because I don't want to replace Rollout. It's been working out pretty well for me. Plus, I could use, like, a Heart Scale, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of Counter here. It's a decent coverage move, I figure why not. Not like anybody else can learn it, so I'm not really missing out on anything there. And I don't know if this guy's even a trainer, but be prepared in case he is. Nope. Is it here? Good job. It is required that every evil team in the Pokemon games has to be, like, dumb as a sack of dirt. Anyway, let's go back, try to clean up this place a little bit more, and then I'm going to hold off on progressing to Cyrus until next time. Since the first half of this video, or, like, first 2/3 was bumbling, I don't mind if this one runs a little bit longer. Here. guess. Okay, at least they're self-aware, I'll give them that much. Gotta check the Wi-Fi signal, see if there's an item hidden inside it. Behold my amazing Pokemon team of one Stunky. Feel my wrath. Oh no, I died. Again, at least they're self-aware. There's just kind of a yellow thing. Get rid of everything. Don't give a crap about what I'm fighting, because most of it's gonna die anyway. Send out a Psychic type against a Dark type because I'm smart. Didn't matter anyway. Toxic does revert into normal poison after the battle's over, right? It doesn't really show here, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. And in here we have a bunch of... I don't know what these are. Generators, I guess? Don't particularly care about the Frustration TM. Like, who the hell is gonna use the Frustration TM this late into the game? It's just a shittier version of Return, which you get at the very beginning. Like, if anything, they should give you Frustration at the beginning of the game, and then you get Return, and you're like, oh, I can replace it now that my happiness has gone up. Like, that would actually make sense. Anyway, I've been this way, because this leads down to the basement. Yeah. And then, were there any other warp tiles that I passed up? Oh, yeah, there's like a whole other path that I haven't taken. Or maybe just a warehouse. Snatch. That gives you the effect of moves, I think. Yeah, that is incredibly situational. Alright, it looked like there were more items in this place. I should probably go heal that poison. But I think I'm gonna end it here. This is overstayed its welcome, definitely. I'll do a quick run through of the facility, like off screen, just to make sure I got everything, and then, assuming that I did, we'll just progress to the second half of the building next time, and hopefully not have it take up an entire segment. Alright, I want to publicly apologize for the video that you just watched.